Benny. Oh, yes. Is it Benjamin? I never did find...
My name is Alfred Hawthorne Hill.
Alfred Hawthorne Hill?
And I called myself Benny because I admired Jack Benny so much.
Oh, I see. This is all news. I was hoping we'd get some of this out of you because Benny said, I'm going to hate this bit. I don't like being myself because we only ever see yourself, a couple of minutes at the end of each show.
Yes.
You do all the characters. So treat this, if you like, if it's going to be painful, as a visit to the dentist.
For a show as outrageous and widely watched as The Benny Hill Show, it's easy to assume that every gag, every chase scene, and every cheeky innuendo has been picked apart by fans. But behind the slapstick and speeded-up skits, there are some details that even devoted viewers might have missed. Today we're taking a closer look into the odd bloopers, subtle trivia, and overlooked moments. The silent genius behind the gags. Benny Hill was often seen as just a cheeky performer, but many fans don't realize how deeply involved he was behind the scenes. He wasn't just a star, he wrote nearly all of the sketches himself. Using the pen name M.B. Hill, short for his full name Alfred Hawthorne Hill, Benny kept his writing credit tucked away in the background. He was a perfectionist with timing, often spending hours rehearsing physical comedy bits to get the rhythm just right. Despite the chaotic look of his chase scenes and slapstick routines, many were carefully choreographed. The pacing of those gags, especially the fast motion sequences, had to be tightly synced to music cues and punchlines. For a show that looked like a spontaneous mess, it was actually built on planning and repetition. The contrast between wild humor and serious craft is one of the reasons the show still feels oddly sharp beneath the silliness.
America was like the mecca of show business to me. I was brought up as a little child, Saturday afternoon, the cinema, Wednesday night with Mum and Dad if I was lucky, and was sitting there sixpence at the dark. It was a big deal to me. So places like Hollywood and New York, were sort of places you only dream about.
Reused footage and disguised set pieces. Even the fast-forwarded chases, so famous they became the show's trademark, were often filmed in the exact same places using similar camera angles. It was a smart way to stretch resources while keeping the humor front and center. Unexpected celebrity cameos. Many casual viewers of The Benny Hill Show never realized just how many famous faces appeared on the program before or during their rise to stardom. One of the most surprising is a young Jane Leeves, who later became known for playing Daphne on Frasier, appeared as one of Hill's angels in the early 80s. She was featured in several dance numbers and background scenes, though most fans didn't connect the dots until much later in her career. Another example is Nicholas Parsons, best known for hosting the game show Just a Minute, who once took part in sketches with Benny Hill back in the 60s. Several other British stage actors and comedians made appearances before finding greater fame elsewhere, often in roles where they were barely recognizable. Bloopers that made the final cut. These moments were rarely pointed out, but they added a kind of warmth to the show that fans appreciated. In one well-known example, a prop door that was supposed to swing open fell completely off its hinges mid-sketch. The actors hesitated, broke character for a split second, and then carried on without missing the next gag. It worked so naturally, people assumed it was part of the joke. In another bit, Benny misjudged a pratfall and landed too hard, visibly wincing before continuing the sketch as planned. The strange censorship history.
But you have to be on your own to write. You cannot write if you're in a crowd of people. Writing is not necessarily lonely, but you've got to be on your own to mull it over, work it out. So Nicky, my hand's gone again now. The pains are coming back.
Oh no.
Then we tranquilize us.
One of the lesser-known details about The Benny Hill Show is how often it was censored, or at least edited differently depending on where it aired. While the show was always considered risque, British audiences in the 1970s and 80s were used to a looser attitude towards innuendo and slapstick nudity. When it came time to export the show to the US and other markets, whole scenes were cut and punchlines were trimmed or swapped out. American broadcasts, especially those syndicated in the early days of cable TV, often removed segments considered too suggestive. Some sketches were replaced with milder ones from earlier seasons, and scenes with suggestive dancing or double entendres were quietly dropped. Hill had little control over the final edit once the show was in foreign hands, but he reportedly didn't mind. He was more interested in entertaining audiences than arguing over what stayed in. Many of the censored scenes are now widely available on DVD box sets and streaming platforms, leading fans to rediscover lost bits decades later. Hill's hidden satire. It's easy to remember the Benny Hill Show as nothing more than cheeky jokes and silly chase scenes, but there was often subtle satire hidden just beneath the surface. While the humor was broad, many sketches poked fun at British institutions, police officers, stuffy upper-class types, even the BBC itself. Hill's humor could be surprisingly sharp when aimed at bureaucracy, snobbery, or celebrity culture. In one recurring sketch, Hill played a politician who delivered long-winded speeches that said nothing at all. The joke was in the nonsense, but it also reflected how many real politicians spoke in vague, circular phrases. Hill rarely got credit for this layer of humor, in part because the show's surface was so dominated by visual gags and speeded-up chases. Recurring characters with hidden backstories. Many fans remember the recurring characters on The Benny Hill Show: the lecherous old man, the clueless newsreader, or the constantly outsmarted authority figure, but what most viewers missed is that some of these characters had subtle through-lines and callbacks across sketches. Hill gave them just enough of a backstory or personality shift to make them more than throwaway roles, even if the changes were hidden beneath the show's fast pacing. Benny's real personality. Despite the wild energy he brought on screen, Benny Hill was known to be quiet, reserved, and deeply private. Many people assumed he lived the same cheeky lifestyle his show promoted, but those who worked closely with him described a very different man. He never married, lived modestly, and didn't drive. He often preferred staying in with books or television over going out. Much of his life was spent in modest flats and quiet hotel rooms, even at the height of his fame. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite memory of Benny Hill? Let us know in the comments section below.